Hey guys. All right, today's day 5, Habari Gani. And the response is Nia. Nia means purpose. Like I said, I am here for each day on live. We're late today, but I made it. Purpose is something that is like an age-old question that everybody kind of questions, or they aren't sure what their purpose is, or never even thought about asking themselves what their purpose is. They simply exist. For the purposes of Kwanzaa, we all need to have a collective purpose to uphold and uplift our community. But Nia, or purpose, is something that people have to be aware of. They have to be self-interested about. You can have more than one purpose. Just because my purpose in life is to make my community better or be a good mom does not mean I don't have other purposes. It does not mean that simultaneously I can't do other things. I do a lot of things. Do I do them consistently? No. Should I? Probably. But I think we all, if we're honest, have questioned ourselves about our purpose, or we have the audacity to think we can't repurpose ourselves. So, you know how people use things for different purposes after they've wore out their purpose or fulfilled their purpose? Like, take a shopping bag. You know those Walmart bags that rip with all the holes in them? But you use it to bring your groceries home. But if you like my household, we repurpose them for a lot of different things. Sometimes they serve as bathroom trash bins. Sometimes they serve as carrying other objects different places. Sometimes they're to store food or to mix things up. It depends. But things are repurposed, and I think we have to evaluate once we have fulfilled a certain purpose that it doesn't mean we're not useful anymore. It doesn't mean we don't have other purposes, that we need to repurpose ourselves. It's really simple, but at the same time, it's more of a self-evaluation of how you can impact your community, or why haven't you impacted your community? Because a lot of people, they just exist. They just live their day-to-day life trying to pay bills and everything else, but they don't have a sense of, oh, hey, best friend. They don't have a sense of purpose, or a collective purpose, or a sense of responsibility to the community, which is detrimental to themselves. Because when you don't do things, I was raised like that. My godmom and my mom and everybody else, they made sure that we were out serving the community. So it's a way of life for me, but for a lot of people, it's not. A lot of people, they're fending for self. They're trying to survive, and I think we need to be mindful and evaluate that. Like, a lot of people reach out like, yo, you always doing something, or you always somewhere doing something for the community, because this is a way of life. This is a thought process, and I think a lot of people definitely need that thought process as well. A lot of people don't have that obligation, but it is your obligation, because your kids walk through these streets just like mine do. And they encounter other kids who aren't raised by people with this mentality, and when they're not raised with this mentality, they they do wild, crazy stuff. And if everybody had the same mentality, if everybody had the same sense of purpose, it takes a village to raise a child. But we don't have that village mentality anymore. We don't have that mind frame that we're all our brother and sister's keeper, that we're all our children's keepers, and our purpose is to collectively empower and better our communities. How do you do that? You can start a business. You can volunteer. Not saying you always got to do things for free, but at some point in time, you got to give something of yourself. Like, there's no reason that you can't spend an hour a week volunteering somewhere or doing something for somebody else other than yourself or your family. That is all of our purposes, and I think that we need to move to a place where this is normal. We need to make that normal. We need to make us being responsible for our communities. I go to township meetings sometimes, and we don't have no representation. It's everybody except for one person that is on that committee or board doesn't look like us. They don't have our best interests at heart. They're not saying that they mean any harm to us, but they ain't thinking about us. And if we don't show up, they sure is not thinking about us. So we have to make them or get in position to think about our people and serve our people, because at the end of the day, it's our job. It's not anybody else's job. It's not anybody else's job. Call me and talk. I can't stand you. People watch later. People are... See, she messed me up. But purpose. So people have to be responsible for their communities, for their surroundings, for their environments. And you can't just comment on it. You can't just sit there and criticize when you're doing nothing. It's very vital to all of our lives and community that we do better. And like I said, Kwanzaa is a celebration for 7 days, but this needs to be a mentality. These principles need to be upheld year-round, daily. You need to wake up with this mentality. You need to wake up with intention to do something that's bigger than yourself, bigger than your personal life. Not saying that you ignore your personal life, because individually, if you're not okay, if you're not well off, how can you serve anybody else? How can you do anything for anybody else? So today I asked people to challenge themselves to make their purpose full of, make their purpose full of the betterment of our communities, the betterment of ourselves, and that we move forward in a mindset that we do this together. I say this every day, but I know a lot of people doing a lot of great things, but nobody does it together. And we have to get that mentality out of here. We got to do better as a community, because if we can't stand together, how can we stand against any enemy? How can we stop infiltration and attacks against our people? Like, we can't, because we're so divided, we're so separated that we don't fulfill our purposes. So I just ask that going through the day, going through this year, this upcoming year, that you decide to fulfill your purpose, evaluate what your purpose is, how you can contribute to the collective and individually. It's not just getting money. I'm sorry, but what happens when this dollar crashes? I'm gonna keep saying it because it's going to happen. But when this dollar is no more, what do you have to offer? What do you want to do? Like, what will be your purpose then? Because there will be no dollar to chase. So that's my thoughts for today. We have to know what our purpose is. We have to get to a point where this is normal. These discussions are normal. because a lot of people are like, yo, what you doing on live? Like, what, like, why do you feel the need to do this? And it's simple, because people don't think about these things. People are not worried about the community. People are not worried about how Black people as a whole function. And I think it's our job, not just my job, but our job, to get people to fulfill their purpose, to fulfill a collective purpose. So evaluate how you can contribute. Reach out to people who are already contributing, and whatever gifts and talents you have to be ready and willing to utilize them to empower your people, and not feel like it's weird or not commonplace because everybody else does this. Everybody else, they go volunteer in their communities. They go start schools and things. They provide businesses that serve the community, that makes it better. And what do? We buy from them. We support their communities. We go to their places of interest and we go to their events. But we don't have anything as a collective. Like, yes, there's organizations here and there that do things, but as a community, every walk of life should be welcome in any place. Everybody should be able to function together and operate together to fulfill a common purpose. And the common purpose is to make our communities better, to support and enhance and elevate our people. So when we get to a point where we can think about this and make this discussion normal and okay and commonplace, I think we will be better as a people. We will be more purposeful. We will be more intentional in how we do things. So I think that's about it for today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Happy Kwanzaa. Evaluate what your purpose is and how your purpose can serve the collective. Deuces.